You're watching the Tesla live with your host, Mark Coughlin.
I was dancing with the block.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tesla Life number 346. Here we are, the 14th of February, Valentine's Day, 2024. I hope everyone has remembered their significant other. Otherwise, there will probably be hell to pay. So hopefully you remembered. If you haven't remembered, you still got a little bit of time. Rush out and do something. But if you're relaxing with us, then please let's introduce the cast as we normally do at the start of the show. Co-hosting with us tonight, we have Mr. Casey Green joining us from the Mid-Atlantic. How are you today, sir?
Doing all right. How y'all doing?
How you doing, Moto? Hello.
Super busy.
Yes, indeed. Also joining us, we have Mr. Patrick Connor joining us from the West Coast. How are you today, sir?
I'm good. Hello, Tesla Nation.
Patrick, how's the wet and soggy working out for you? Has it brightened up a little bit, or is it still raining?
No, it's still raining, and in fact, we just got a winter storm advisory that we might get some snow tonight. So, it was just an advisory, not the higher level warning. But I did bump up the reserve on the power wall just a little bit, just in case.
Just in case. Just in case. Probably a prudent measure to do, definitely. Well, let's get rolling. Got a lot of Tesla news, which is not unusual for one of these shows. And the first one we're going to talk about tonight is some inventive Cybertruck owners are starting to test the waters for possibly selling a vehicle they're not supposed to be able to sell. So this information has been collected from a few different sources where they've seen some people that are advertising that they're looking to get rid of their Cybertruck to sell it to somebody at an inflated rate, I should add. Somewhere amounts anywhere between $150,000 to $275,000, depending on the seller. And we thought there was supposed to be a way to prevent this, right? Everybody was supposed to sign a waiver when they bought the Cybertruck that they were not going to be able to sell the vehicle for a year, and that if they were to do so, that they may be in line for a $50,000 penalty or more that Tesla would try to claw back. So this is kind of interesting that we've got people that I guess are going to try to see if they can skirt these rules. And if you read some of the ads that have been posted for these trucks, these inventive scalpers think they have found a loophole. And that loophole is either leasing or renting, where what they're doing is they're saying that, yes, you can lease my Cybertruck for a full year. And if you do so, you can pay me, the big amount up front. And at the end of that year lease, I will sell the truck to you for $1 or 1 penny or whatever it is. So they're trying to get the money up front in this long-term lease, indicating that, hey, I'm not selling it. I'm just leasing or renting the vehicle to somebody else that wants it that badly. And then at the end of the year period, they'll just transfer the ownership at that point for, a nominal fee. So
tricky.
Yeah, like it's go ahead, Casey.
Saying something. I've been hearing over the last couple of days that Tesla have been telling the employee owners not to rent their vehicles out. And I was thinking that maybe they had a bad experience with a YouTuber or something. I didn't realize it was this.
Yeah, so
renting your Cybertruck out to sell it.
When you've got somebody that could possibly, who knows if they're going to sell for $275,000? Like, I'm not sure if anyone is that desperate to purchase the vehicle at that amount. Maybe there is, maybe there's not. But I'm sure that someone would buy it for 50% over the price, maybe 150,000. I'm sure that could happen without too much of a problem. But these are people that are basically professional scalpers. I have a feeling that this is what they wanted to do right from the beginning. And having a truck like this that is of low volume at this point, Tesla has already said they're probably not going to make more than 50,000 of these trucks for the entire year. So you've got a lot of pent up demand when you had hundreds of thousands, if not a million, pre-orders before the truck was introduced. So this is not surprising that you're going to have a few that are going to try to cash in on this, because the supply and demand are that much outbalanced in this particular case.
Yeah, it's annoying that these folks got the truck, because I would much rather see it going to somebody who really wanted it for themselves and was going to keep it, instead of it went to these flippers. That's too bad.
And I'm also glad that if these people were employees, that Tesla did step up and do the right thing there by limiting them from being able to pull the scheme off any further.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if they're going to be able to stop it. Like I get what Tesla was trying to do here. But I'm also thinking that there's a lot of inventive people out there, especially when there's 50 or 100 grand on the line for them. I think there's going to be a lot of people trying to skirt this rule, get around it, or maybe even challenge it in court when it comes down to it. That could be a play as well that could happen. So, and of course, it doesn't necessarily look great that Tesla may be suing one of its owners for selling their truck. Although we have seen this happen with Ford Motor Company when they were selling the exotic car that they had put out in limited quantity. And
Ferrari is known for this as part of their brand reputation.
Yeah, so it's something that others have done. We'll have to see as this comes down to it, if a lease or rental will skirt the rule, or if these people are going to find themselves in court, or if Tesla is not going to pursue it. That's another option too that may happen. We don't know. So I'm sure this all goes away once volume starts to tick up a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And for all I know, once we get to maybe 50,000 vehicles delivered, that might be enough for the people that just cannot wait, and they're willing to put another $50,000 or $75,000 on top of the vehicle price in order to have one now. Those people may disappear after we get about 50,000 into the field. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that they're gonna have to hold these people accountable, because if they don't, then when they find somebody who really ticks them off, then they can say, "Oh, well, you weren't enforcing them for these 150 people." So I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Doesn't excuse them, but also
gives them some precedent, though, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. So we will see. Well, on to the next story, and of course, now it's NACS party, and Casey's got a story for us tonight.
Okay, so I told you earlier on a Sunday show, and I referenced it on this show, that Stellantis finally came out with an EV van, or EV period, but an EV van on this side of the pond. But confusingly, it had CCS1 after everybody else had switched to NACS. Well, this week, Stellantis, they have switched to NACS, but yet again, we have another interesting case about it. We're going to have adapters by 2025, yes. There is not a single mention of Tesla, supercharging, anything, anywhere in their announcement. They did finally come up with a name for their amalgamation of all these other brands that were going to come up with a charging network. They call it Iona. But at least the supercharger plug will fit. Whether you'll be able to use it, who knows?
Yeah, not mentioned. So where does that leave Stellantis EV owners, which of course none exist at this particular moment in time?
But there are the van. Like maybe the two people who found it without being able to find it on the website.
Right. So it's, there's not a lot of people that would have a Stellantis vehicle to plug in anyways. But it is kind of interesting that maybe they're pinning their hopes on this new collaboration of companies, GM also included in this pack, that are going to be building a new network in North America that, of course, the publicity says will rival Tesla's supercharger network. And I'm thinking, boy, rival's a big word when you're thinking about what is currently out there in front of them. So that's
pretty foolhardy.
Yeah.
Look how where Tesla supercharger network sits just in North America from 2012. Look at, so you plan to compete with that in a year.
They have a 12-year head start. They're going 10 times faster than you, but you're going to catch up. No, I don't think so.
You guys just picked a name for this thing at the same time this announcement went off.
Right.
Yeah.
Forget an implementation plan.
Yeah, I have to say that it's just complete BS. Like it's just marketing speak. That's all it is, because you cannot walk that type of talk. As Patrick said, they have a 12-year head start, and they're running now. What are they putting out there? Like, are they putting out like 3 superchargers a day? Like, it's insane how quickly the network is growing beyond the 50,000 that they had in place last summer. So this is a tall order that frankly cannot be done by one company teaming up with a few automakers that are probably going to underfund it and expect it to be impressive. It's not going to happen.
I mean, even before you get into their lackluster prior performance, you have to get permits for these HV connects, and the government doesn't care who you are. They're going to move at their speed. And what I suspect we're going to see here is they had to announce something, and that they actually are still in negotiations for whatever Tesla has agreed with all these other folks for supercharger access, because it's still done in your app. It's still done plug and charge. You don't have to deal with Tesla at all, and then this one puts you right in Tesla's hand, because now it's going to be just like Europe, where if you supercharge a lot, you're going to want to go ahead and subscribe to supercharging to get the Tesla rates, or you're going to do the charge my non-Tesla. Hopefully it'll open up to the whole continent, at least the matching stalls, like the 15,000 or wherever the ones that have an agreement are. Hopefully it'll open to that if Stellantis doesn't get their act together, and it'll be just like it is in Europe. But if they don't, that's gonna be still kind of dicey for you if you manage to find a Stellantis that meets your needs and then buy it without that agreement existing. I guess I do want to give them kudos for not having the adapter story messed up like a BMW group did. And that leaves us with one other automaker that matters that doesn't have a NACS agreement, and that would be VinFast. And I put matters in quotes because they don't have very good reviews and they don't have the volume yet, but they're the only other ones delivering cars right now with CCS1.
Yeah.
There's also Ferrari. They broke away from Stellantis earlier or late last year, and they haven't agreed to anything yet. But they, as we talked about last week, they are benchmarking of Model S Plaid, and so what their story looks like as well. So I wouldn't be counting on this to be something that's going to rival the Tesla network at all. But I don't know. They even said in the press release that they were also going to be including CCS charger handles as well. Yeah, because everybody but Stellantis actually has CCS1 cars on the road. So while we wait for those cars to age out, how about if somebody forgets their adapter at home, they can still use this network. I expect what we'll actually see is it'll be a complement to what's out there, just like with the third parties and just like with the Rivian network. They try not to step on each other's turf, which is actually better for the consumer anyway. Yeah. So that's something else we'll keep an eye on. With the Ferrari situation, Their typical customer doesn't need the superchargers anyway, unless they don't have home charging. So it doesn't really matter what they pick.
Doesn't a flatbed with a generator just follow Ferrari EVs around the country? Right, that's what happens.
There's that, but I think the only real notable cases that we'll see of their customers, aside from the people who I did have a coworker who would take his Ferrari in the snow to work, but aside from diehards like that, they don't and the Cannonball Run. Aside from those particular cases, you're not going to find anybody doing any real distance in those cars. So,
and the Cannonball one was, every time you say Cannonball Run, I think of Dom DeLuise and Burt Reynolds back from the 80s. That's what I think of. But I know there's Cannonball Runs since then, but that's what sticks in my head. Those crazy movies that they made.
Classic.
Yep. Indeed. Next, Patrick, you know this story, I'm sure. You heard about this small city in California called Lost Hills, and their permit of getting a large supercharger installed. Did you hear the number?
Yes, I did. 164 stall supercharger. That is the largest in the world. Yes,
exactly. Yeah, permitted for the largest in the world.
Yeah. So where's the previous, or where's the current largest? I think is in China right now.
Yeah. So that's that will be one that will take the title to the United States.
Bring it back home.
But what was really cool, I thought, was in the permit is they're planning for 16 pull-through spots for vehicles with trailer access. And that's what we've been talking about as the Cybertruck was coming. Well, even with Casey and his epic U-Haul runs, he needed some of these places to be available to him. Yeah. We thought it would come a lot earlier than this. We've seen a number of superchargers even roll out since the introduction of the Cybertruck, and some of them just do not have any.
That's the Model X with the tow package.
Yeah, so it's certainly a plus that they're going to hopefully start keeping this in mind.
Yeah, that's great. I'm not sure that 16 is enough out of 164, but it will be. It's a good thing that they're doing this, because if you are taking a road trip, that's when you're most likely to be towing something. You can't charge at home, and you're on the road. You're driving somewhere. So this is great to see the pull through spots. So the little PSA: if you don't need the pull through spot, don't use the pull through spot. Take one of the other ones, back in like you're supposed to.
Yeah, same for the nose in and the disabled access. Use this stall, last stalls.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Good etiquette is important. We're all a community. We depend on each other. Don't be one of those people that just once you're full, you unplug and then go back into the restaurant without moving your car.
Yeah, I heard that story recently. That was just amazing that someone would do that. They come out of a restaurant, they unplug their vehicle and go back into the restaurant when all the other chargers are full.
While there are people waiting.
Someone should have jumped out of their car and slapped that guy and said, "What are you thinking about, man? Wake up!"
So all the people.
Let me show you how to use this tow package as I pull your car out of the spot.
Exactly. All the people who respond with they should have cameras on the superchargers. They've got one. This stall was full, so you've got cameras on almost all the cars there.
That's true.
Wouldn't it be poetic justice if your own car tattles on you and then gets you the idle fee?
Yes.
Yeah.
Notice you were installed
not?
And not plugged in, so we took the liberty of charging your credit card directly. I hope you have money for the tip.
Right, and it doesn't even have to be some massively intelligent. If you unplug and then it doesn't, don't turn on the car, it doesn't, at least roll 10 feet, a few meters, then you can charge them.
Yeah, and if you got towed away from the supercharger, they could even do a GPS spot check before they hit the credit card for real. Spot check. Did it actually move? No? Okay, we got you, Bo.
Yeah, that's a good
Let's help you out with this.
Another bit of news about the Lost Hills permit was that all the spots are covered in solar, and there is, of course, the permit indicates that there will be a storage on site to collect and amalgamate the electricity that's coming in from those solar panels, so that they can avoid some peak charges by collecting, sunshine all day, storing it into the battery, and then when people come charge, they can boost the amount that goes out based on what's stored locally.
They can also do the drawing a blank right now on the what's the name of the program where they sell the power back? Not the government program, but the Tesla's name for it.
Virtual power plant,
like a VPP.
Not that. The auto bidder. They could do the
auto bidder
software. Their software to manage their energy costs. Yeah, that's a smart. If they get that registered as an energy generation spot, then they could be selling it onto the wholesale market instead of just the normal customer exchange. Yeah. Which isn't very good in California, depending on which provider you have.
Without a battery, which they have.
Yeah,
this is true. Yes, yeah, that helps.
And of course, this location, Lost Hills, I had no idea where that is, but it's on Highway 5, and it's about partway between Los Angeles and San Francisco, the two major spots on the coast that Kettleman City is on. That all the big superchargers are along that I-5 stretch. So this is just another one that's been added to the mix. So
one thing I do like about the sites that have storage on site is that when the town goes dark, for whatever reason, those couple times a decade that it happens, people are still in and out of the supercharger like nothing happened.
Well, that's good news for the travelers for sure. Next, yes, this came shortly after the Super Bowl. There was a tweet and actually a follow-up with a photo. Snoop Dogg, our rapper friend, apparently had sent a message to Elon indicating that Elon's people had told him and his people that they were going to get him a Tesla. And he was wondering, Elon, when is this Tesla going to show up? And he put this in a post and sent it out onto the internet. And of course, lots of people started to respond to this. And ultimately, everybody here knows what Elon's policy is on free cars. It's like, hey, everybody here, including me, bought their own car. So if you want a car, you can buy a car anytime you want, and you can do it in under 5 minutes on your phone. So there's no excuse. And of course, Snoop Dogg got that message back, not only from Elon, but from hundreds, if not thousands of people that responded to the post left, right, and center. So I wonder if Snoop is getting the message now, just because you're, Hollywood star or somebody that's a famous rapper, famous at all. Doesn't matter. Everybody buys their own car. And, that price that you see on the website, that's what you're paying. So
with very few exceptions. We're talking like raffle prizes and stuff like that.
Right.
And it also came out that there was video of Snoop giving one of his friends a Model 3. Like, apparently he likes to buy his friends Teslas instead of Rolexes. So I think that's a better gift, but
you can't blame a dog for trying.
Right? But whoever was speaking on behalf of the company before it got to Elon, I don't know what they were thinking. Maybe they were trying some electronic.
And a quick shout out hello to Derek, JT, and Paul, who are in the chat room joining us today. If you haven't already, just log in, say hello in the comments. You're part of the show. We'd like to see people join up and follow along the show live. Appreciate that. Next story. What do we got here? Yes, Model Y. Model Y dropped by $1,000 overnight. Surprise! And some people a little bit upset with the latest news about Tesla stock buffeting up and down, people complaining that it dropped so much value after the last earnings call. And part of that drop is attributed to Tesla giving up some of its profit when it comes to selling their vehicles. And that, of course, is part of these price drops. But
my goodness, they're getting 25% of profit instead of 32%. Oh my goodness, the world is ending.
When everybody else is selling EVs at a loss, the fact that they're in the black at all is awesome. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just happy to be. It's at a nice low price, and when the Model Next comes out, I think it's going to have a nice run. Not stock advice, but that's my fingers are crossed for that.
Yeah.
Also, the Model 3 went up in price another $1,000 at the same time.
So this is all, of course, supply and demand. Elon had responded to some people that were complaining that he indicated that, hey, first quarter is a classic downturn in the automotive industry when it comes to sales. Everybody is of this same stature. And he said, listen, in order to keep the factory running at peak efficiency, we want to pump out as many cars as we can and continue the run rates that we have, continue the amount of parts that are coming in, continue the amount of vehicles that are flowing out on the truck carriers, providing the truck carriers with the same amount of vehicles to deliver. All that in tandem allows us to run at a better rate and allows us to have a better profit on top of it. So if we give up $1,000 on the retail price of a vehicle for a couple months, because of course he said the price will be going back up after we get to spring, we're going to do it because it helps all the other factors of the business, which of course we're concerned about, not just the price of one vehicle and the price it's currently at. We're concerned about the entire ecosystem, how it all works and gels together. And this is something that we're using as a demand lever for us to get some more vehicles on the road into customers' hands and allow us to run at peak efficiency. And that's basically the information that was disposed to the people. And it makes perfect sense. Like I don't understand why someone like armchair quarterbacks are sitting back going, well, we're losing $1,000 on the Model Y, and that's ruining everything. But they have no clue as to all the other cogs in the wheel that are spinning around in order to get these cars made, get them made profitably, keep suppliers happy, keep everything rolling smoothly. It's just not something that they have any vision into. And it's something that I think someone sitting on the sidelines going $1,000 here or there doesn't really mean anything when it comes down to it.
Yeah, that's looking at the little picture instead of the big picture.
Exactly. So not a surprise there. And of course, I don't know how many times we said it on this show, but if you see a price for the vehicle that you want and it covers all your needs, we would suggest you buy it at that particular point in time, because the next day it can go up, it can go down, or the features can change. So you've got to make your choice and roll with it based on what you see in front of you. And if everything has come together, I would not sit on the sidelines and hope for maybe another $1,000 drop, because as Casey mentioned, the Model 3 went up by $1,000. And those people, if they were waiting, guess what? You got another $1,000 to pay. So,
and when we're talking features change, it doesn't have to be hardware. Tesla could literally say, heated seats are an option now. And even though the car hasn't built in, you now got to go into the app and pay for them. Otherwise, they're there, but you can't use them.
Do you remember the famous 2021 revolt of the anti-lumbar people? It's just passenger seat lumbar button disappeared. It was pandemonium on the streets.
To this day, Mark has a calendar entry that says, go fiddle with the button.
Exactly. He's not taking it away from me, man. I just keep moving around. I go, this guy loves that lumbar button.
Elon's logic on that. Nobody uses it. Yeah, you use it once, and as long as nobody in the car changes seats, you don't ever need to touch it again.
Right. I have it set where I want it. Why would I keep tweaking it?
Exactly.
Yep.
Patrick, I'm not sure if you were up on this story about the Powerwall 3. Did you see some information on this?
I did, yes. So, as you all know, Tesla makes Powerwalls, and they've had the 1, which wasn't out very long, then the 2, then the 2 Plus, and then the 3. And the 3 adds a couple cool things. It's a little smaller. It has more than double the continuous output, which is really nice because if you have a single Powerwall, you probably can't run your whole house off of it. You probably can't run your AC off of it unless you have a soft start or some other stuff in there. But with more higher power capability, that's not a problem. Obviously, a single Powerwall is not going to last as long as 2 or 3 of them, but depending on what your backup needs are, it could be more than adequate. One of the cool things that the Powerwall 3 also adds is a solar inverter. So the Powerwall 2 has its own inverter, but that's just for the power coming in or out from the battery. And so if you have, like I do, Powerwall 2s, so you get DC power generated from the solar panels. That goes into the inverter, that converts it to AC. Then it goes to the battery, because the battery is only AC connected. That then gets converted back to DC to charge the battery. And then when you want to use it, it goes in reverse DC to AC to the house. So even if those conversions are 95% efficient, they have some loss. So this has, Powerwall 3 has a DC connection. So you can get DC straight from your roof and have it go right into your batteries without those DC to AC conversions. And so more efficient, more power. If you are doing a new solar install, you don't have to have a separate inverter, so it saves you money there as well. So there's lots of cool things about the Powerwall 3. And this article was talking about how it's been available. There have been some installed, but they've been through installers and not people. You couldn't just order them directly. And the title of this article on Teslarati says, Tesla launches next generation Powerwall 3 orders on its website. So now you can order it directly.
Yeah, that's a plus because, of course, in the past, when there was constraint on the number of Powerwalls they could sell, you were forced to purchase it through a third party that was a solar installer. So there was cases where certain people were locked out of this because they had their own solar already. They didn't need more solar. They were just looking for Powerwalls. They were kind of out looking in. But now it appears that the quantities are coming up when they're pushing these out of the factory. So it looks like anyone can buy them now.
Another thing with the Powerwall 2 Plus is it also had the inverter, but it was kind of stacked on top. It cost extra. It wasn't as robust as this. So you get the savings, and Tesla gets the savings as well by not having to do as many warranty repairs and such on this. And I bet you there's a commonality with the cars, or at least the Megapacks with this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't think the Powerwall 2s are going to be discontinued because the 2s are still good for retrofit. So these are both going to exist for a while in the market.
Yeah, and the 2 scales up to 10 units. The 3 only scales up to 4 units. And then again, like you said, if you already have Powerwall 2s, you can't mix in any 3s. And if you have AC solar already, then you're wasting a good bit of potential of the Powerwall 3 by trying to AC connect it. So,
quick question for you, Patrick. If you were starting a new system and you had 2 or 3 Powerwall 3s in your system, do you need an inverter for each of them, or can they share one inverter?
They all have their own.
Right, they all have their own.
I know they all have their own, but does that make sense that they need 3?
Yeah, they gang up. They gang up.
Yeah, okay. So I don't know if you would put some strings into each one, or if they can share the load. I'm not sure how that would work as far as their actual physical connections. I'd have to look at that.
Okay. Fair enough. Next, we've got a story that's built for Mr. Supercharger.
Yes,
and of course, I am sure he's already planning out a route as we're talking right now. What's this about?
Well, I was actually going to say, who's going to beat Mr. Supercharger at this game? Because I don't have any trips planned. So, for the next period, I forget what time it ended. Was it like the end of the year or something?
March 31st.
In March. Through the end of the quarter, whoever visits the most consecutive superchargers worldwide, but not the most sessions, the most unique stations.
Locations.
Exactly. They will win a prize. What prize? We don't know, but it's probably going to be cool. At the very least, you get bragging rights, and they'll write about you on their blog. So it's exciting.
This is cool. And we've been talking about having some sort of a challenge or something because so many people visit superchargers. And there's even unofficial groups out there that keep track of this on spreadsheets as to the ones they visited and when they visited and so on and so forth. But apparently, Tesla will be tracking this information themselves. You won't see it. Obviously, you can track it yourself. You were there. But they will be tracking it internally and then announce a winner at the end of the quarter. What I would think would be really cool is they just make a little bit of a change to the app that everybody has. And maybe you start to list these superchargers that you've been in account. Be very easy to do, I'm sure, where they've got all these software engineers. That would be a no problem type of thing to do. And of course, maybe this will come. Yeah, that's great. Love to see this roll out, have a few more things happen to it. Maybe design, a little bit of a course when somebody, maybe it's a mystery supercharger. Could be another contest where whoever stops at a certain location and picks charger number 8, they get alerted, right on their screen. Bing, you won, something like that. That might be cool. So, and obviously Tesla could pick a charger that's underutilized, that doesn't fill up all that often, and all that kind of stuff. That's cool. That really drives engagement with their customers, and I think it's a plus. This may be, obviously I'm not going to go out and start driving a road course throughout North America to go after this title, but I'm sure that there are a few out there that are planning something like that. So. If more power to them.
If I had the time and the vacation time to spend on it, I would definitely go give it a try. But I have a feeling that somebody who's on sabbatical would just go and beat me. I'm curious though, for the person who wins, if they don't have unlimited supercharging already, and assuming that's not the prize, what is their bill going to look like? So this is actually kind of win-win for Tesla.
I've seen people talk about past trips that they've done with this, Casey being one. But some people saying, I visited on a particular trip around North America. I visited 154 superchargers on a 22-day trip. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the bill would be tremendous if it wasn't free supercharging. That's a lot of stops. And of course, it's a great amount of distance. Like we're talking traveling to both sides of the continent and up and down the west and the east coast. That's quite an achievement to be able to do in an electric vehicle. And that thing, that get lost on us now because it's starting to become so second nature to us that these things are possible. Heck, I was able to travel across the continent myself. Casey, you've done it. And Patrick, you have certainly gone up and down the West Coast, tremendous distance. It's just something that's so easy to do with the Supercharger network. And it's something that if I'm planning a trip or I want to do something, it's not a limiting factor. There's no limiting factor about the distance or where you're going. It's just, hey, I'm going today and my first stop is here and my second stop is here. And the computer just lets me know. Like it's amazing. Absolutely amazing system.
three of us have these great skills in planning our stops and everything, and we don't actually have to use them anymore.
Nope. Those skills have gone soft because we're not using those skills at all anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the app now. It didn't even used to be in the app. It was barely in the car. This is awesome. I do hope that they have locked out the Supercharger installer technician test cars from this. The 3 a day, I think one of them would win.
Exactly. And if you want, through the week, you want to follow what's going on at the Tesla Life, please go to our social media feeds and follow us there at the Tesla Life on our Twitter feed and the Tesla Life #1 on our Facebook feed. And we thank Patrick for narrating the Facebook for us. And of course, we thank Casey for keeping our live broadcasts going week after week after week. Much appreciated.
Blast.
Next, going on to a story that we've touched on several times in our broadcasts. And this, of course, is something about police departments being able to save money for their small departments because the Tesla vehicle that they're purchasing has some pieces of technology that are baked into the car already that allows some departments to skip purchasing certain things, certain aspects of tech for those vehicles because Tesla comes with them. So this is not a surprise. We've touched on this before. Of course, #1, I would say just out of the box is the Sentry Mode suite of products. That all you basically need is a storage device, and you can store hours and hours of data, video data from around the car. So definitely could see that with being useful to a police department. Being able to see who's been around that vehicle from multiple angles, collect license plate numbers, view occupants of vehicles or people on the street, and be able to track people when even an officer is not in the car. Big plus.
Yep. You don't need a fleet management device because all you got to do is have fleet management software. You don't need a separate internet connection. You don't even need the computer if your department has already got everything on a web portal. You don't need a high power DC to DC converter because it's got one. And in the case of Cybertruck, you've also got AC as well. It's phenomenal.
And let's not forget the oversized alternator that some vehicles require, because so much of a policeman's job is typing on that laptop, being able to be there for hours and not necessarily have the motor running or having to have the motor running in order to power all those electric appliances in the car. And of course,
and the heater.
Yeah, and with the air conditioning. So this being an electric car allows you to skip that completely.
Yeah, and this is a boon to them, whether they want to admit it or not. Bye. She just took my tools and left.
You're lucky your microphone is still there.
I got into a couple of the other thing I wanted to mention before I got into what happened. The extended warranty that you get out of the box compared to what they normally purchase. Instead of $336, they've got a $450, and then the motors and the battery have an 8-year warranty, and the miles will depend on what size battery they got. But that right there is a good start. But I ran into a bunch of just Debbie Downers on the announcement of this, not on Tesla's re-announcement of it, but where they at the police department, Ames Police Department, was explaining their logic. They shouldn't have to do this, but explaining their logic. Not saying they shouldn't be accountable, but because it should be clear. But while they were explaining and doing the math to people, there were a lot of folks saying, "Oh, well, have fun buying batteries," and what about when it catches fire, and blah blah blah. And so I had some fun learning some folks a few things, and it wasn't like necessarily the the trolls, these people seemed literally ignorant of what was going on and incapable of finding the answers on their own. So some of them appreciated it and had a nice back and forth discussion. And then we had the usual FUD come out like, oh, well, what about the minerals? I'm like, oh, what about the minerals that go into the gas car? They're the same.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't even in most of the, or all of the EVs, is in every gas car because the cobalt is being used to take the sulfur out of the oil.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
yep. Same old FUD pieces still out there. But also part of this, or the conversation on Twitter about it was that our friend Chief Todd from the I forgot the name, Bergenville.
Bergenville?
Yeah. That the police department south of Indiana, he chimed in on the discussion being held in Twitter and had said $4,000. He said, we're saving $6,000 per car. Yeah. So, and of course, he's lumping in the cost of fuel and the cost of maintenance, which was the huge winner for them, that they had the ability to actually hire extra officers based on replacing all their old gasoline cars with Model 3s and a couple of Ys over time. In fact, they even did a bit of a retrofit on their new police station so that they could have charging there. They have some fast charging and some L2 charging. And that police department's been completely updated and is now very much an electric police department. Yeah. Which we should try to catch up with Chief Todd again and see how things are a few years into his change of how that police department ran.
Yeah, and don't forget his department isn't a particularly large one, so they're bigger than Ames is. But people were saying, "Oh, well, you guys need to just get bicycles or whatever." And I'm like, bicycle cops are a good thing, but you can't replace a Dodge Charger or Ford Explorer with a bicycle.
Yeah, definitely. Well, with that, I think we're going to wrap it up this evening. Thank everyone for being with us tonight. If you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up on the video and press that subscribe button. You may have noticed that we're putting out a number of different episodes through the week. So if you do press that subscribe and the bell, you'll be alerted every time we release a new video. And of course, liking and sharing that information and subscribing really helps out our small channel. We would really appreciate it if you could do so. So thanks so much for that. JT, you are correct. Let's go with some shout outs. Mr. Casey Green, what have you got for us tonight?
Other than catching our, what do we call them? The express shows?
The express shows, yeah.
Yeah, catch out over at youtube.com/Casey Green. That's KACEYGREN, where I just expand our scope just a little bit and try to catch whatever Tesla news that Mark hasn't already caught, just because I happen to get it in between shows. But we have a blast on Sundays at 1:10 Eastern. And last week was super fun because I got voluntold I was going somewhere without get ready for it. And so it started with FSD being special through a new neighborhood, and it did all right. But the commentary of me just doing that, and then technology attacked, and it took quite a while to get the show started. So if you're watching on the replay, you can look for when people had comments and then kind of skip to the meat of the show, if you will, as a vegetarian.
Very good.
There, hopefully.
1:10 Sundays, be there. So 1:10 Eastern.
Yes.
Also, Patrick, what do you got for us today?
Well, I have to thank Derek there. Thanks for the Future Free from Fossil Fuels show. I got to get that plug in every time.
Yep.
Yes.
And I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net. Check that out. And as always, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org. And let's see. Here we go. Happy Valentine's Day.
Very good. Very good. Well, check with us next time when we do another show again through the week. So please subscribe, press that bell, and we will see you soon. And together we'll find out what's happening in the Tesla life.
Friday.
Stay positive. Test negative.
That's right.
Have a great evening, everyone.